Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. This week I'm talking about the Long-Term Care Planning Deficiencies Checklist, and it's important because the cost of long-term care is expensive, and the U.S. government projects that 56% of those turning 65 will experience a disability severe enough to need long-term care services. Since this is the third segment, we talk about the sinners and the saints. You know, I like to talk about the sinners and the saints because Martin Luther, the famous theologian who nailed his 95 Theses to the church door, said that we're all saints and sinners at the same time. We've been sinning since birth, but we're forgiven and absolved because of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So I like to highlight somebody that's done something wrong and highlight somebody that's done something right. Before you become incapacitated, you need to understand and sign a durable power of attorney. I'm getting around to how this fits into the sinners and saints segment in just a moment. But do not do the cheap and easy thing. Call an elder law attorney to get advice about the durable power of attorney. Some litigation attorneys call the durable power of attorney a license to steal. You heard it. You can give your agent authority to make gifts of your money, to pay himself compensation, and to change your beneficiary designations. If your agent has good intentions and finds a way to do these things that somehow benefit you in the long run and are in your best interest, this is legally allowed. That's what the power of attorney is meant to do. However, if your agent is a sinner and has bad intentions, banks and financial institutions will allow your agent to take your money and won't know if it's in your best interest or not. It's very important that the person you choose as agent is trustworthy, that is, worthy of trust. Does your agent have the values and character to do the right thing, to follow the law, and to make sure you're taken care of? When I was preparing for this segment of the show, I've thought of that cartoon where the cartoon character has a little angel on one shoulder and a little devil on the other shoulder. So imagine your agent under power of attorney has those cartoon characters on his shoulders. What do you think that he'll do with that? And we need to talk about what is your prime objective if you need long-term care. So this is on the checklist. If you want a copy of the Long-Term Care Deficiencies Checklist, call the show at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, and let us know where you're listening from. Also, you can email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. Put in the subject of the email, long-term care deficiencies, and in the body of the email, let me know who you are and where you're listening from, and I'll reply with a copy of the Long-Term Care Deficiencies Checklist. What's your prime objective if you need long-term care? Is your primary objective to leave an inheritance or legacy to your family? To spend as little money as possible on those high-cost long-term care services? Or is your primary objective to get the best care that money can buy? Or, number 3, is your objective to stay home as long as possible, even if the doctor says it's dangerous, even if you have little or no care, or you have to spend even more on private care like a non-medical home care provider. Your primary objective is important. The people you trust need to know to make sure that you're taken care of. In our office, we like to spell that out for you. We write it into legal documents that are legally enforceable. You've probably heard me talk about the take care of clause and the living revocable trust that we prepare. If you haven't, you might want to revisit the estate planning deficiencies episode. You can find that by searching podcasts everywhere or YouTube. Just search for Talk Law Radio Deficiencies, and you can find that segment there, and you can learn a little more about the living trust. Has the individual that needs care or his or her spouse given away any assets or resource to someone for less than fair market value or as a gift? Well, if they have, you probably know about the Medicaid look back. There's a 5-year look back from the time you apply for Medicaid. This is known as the look back rule. If an individual applying for Medicaid has given away money or things, there's a penalty. You don't go to jail or anything like that. You don't have to pay a fine, but the penalty is the number of days that Medicaid will refuse to pay for your care. And that penalty is calculated by dividing the value of the things or money given or by the average cost of nursing home in Texas, which is $7,980 per month. Don't start giving away your assets unless you're working under the care and supervision and advice of an elder law attorney. Don't try this at home. Now, some people can still get qualified. You just have to work with the penalty. And an elder law attorney can give you some ideas about strategies and how to make that work. If you already gave gifts, say 3 years ago, and you need to move into the nursing home right now, call an elder law attorney to help you figure out how to get qualified for Medicaid. Don't just stay home because you think that there's no way to fix this. We want to make sure that you're getting the care that you need, and if you're not getting all the care that you need at home, then you might need a higher level of care, like in a nursing home. The reason I'm talking about all this stuff is because nursing home is expensive. Memory care is expensive. And the U.S. government projects that 56% of us are going to have a disability severe enough that we're going to need long-term care services, like home care, like assisted living, like nursing home care. If you need help with your activities of daily living, like dressing, toileting, showering, transferring, then you need a caregiver. And is that going to be an unpaid family member? Or are you going to have to spend your life savings paying out of pocket for home caregivers, for assisted living, for nursing home care? So in the previous segment, I was talking about some of the deficiencies, like, do you have a power of attorney? That's the foundation for how somebody's going to be able to help you. They need to be able to get your bank statements and your financial statements and your insurance statements, because the Medicaid application requires proof. You have to have a document that proves each answer that you enter into the Medicaid application. So even after you write your name and your date of birth, there has to be a document that proves that. Of course, that's easy. You just send them a copy of your driver's license. They need a copy of your medical insurance cards. They need copies of your bank statements, of your investment statements, of your insurance statements. They need a copy of your power of attorney. So filing for Medicaid is hard, and that's why elder law attorneys got involved in the first place. You might find it interesting to know that years ago, my mom was once a Medicaid benefits eligibility worker. And she told me that she would sit down with people at a small table like this, and they would fill out the Medicaid application together. Well, those days are gone. In fact, a few years ago, they even did away with paper files. So the Medicaid worker only gets the electronic files. And guess what? Sometimes the electronic file is missing some of those documents, because when we send them documents, they scan everything, and sometimes that scanning process misfiles things. And so Medicaid and Health and Human Services is always going to ask you to send more documents. They may even ask you to send the same thing. And so that's why elder law attorneys got involved in helping people to get qualified, because it's so hard. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about legacy. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.